Light and Bone Tarot. Thank you so much for being here and for letting me read for you. We are doing a reading for your special gifts. I love these readings. I'm excited for it. We have 4 oracle cards that each one's going to kind of pertain to the crystal card that you picked. And these 4 crystal cards, you can see all of them except lapis lazuli. We've got jade, lapis lazuli, which is going to have a glare on it, probably the whole reading, but there you go, lovely blue, azurite, and agate. So let me zoom in on these guys and go ahead, pick your crystal card, and then this will be your pile. Jump to your timestamp and you'll have a lovely reading waiting for you. So thank you very much. Goodbye. It's Light and Bone Tarot, and you are joining me for a reading. Thank you so much. Pile 1, you picked jade, lovely, lovely, precious jade. And it says be the bigger person, but that doesn't necessarily pertain to today's reading. So this reading is your special gifts. And the oracle card that came with jade is restore and replenish. And what I just get out of this in a quickness is I think you're very adaptable to change. And this truly is a gift. I think people that can handle change well, or who even like change, I think they're very confident. And it's not to say that you aren't confident if you don't like change, but there's something about the person that can really handle change, or even like relish it and look forward to it, that just seems to be able to like truly adapt in almost any situation. And then I do think that brings like confidence, but it brings this like, there's kind of this zest, this like you can inject new life and excitement into almost any circumstance. And I think it is rare. We might think that like all of our friends can do this because we, for the most part, pick our friends, and these are qualities that we really like in people, but it is rare to truly be able to like, I think, apply this in every aspect of your life. So I think there's something like very positive, very adaptable, very like resourceful about you. And yeah, we're going to get into that a little bit. So I'm just going to pull over these 2 lovely oracle cards, and then we'll get into some tarot. Okay. And yeah, so we've got relaxation and openness. Okay, so for your special gifts, and I say this sometimes because I really do, like, not every reading has to be about like, your relationship or like sex or being attractive, but these are qualities, like these are things that, whether you knew this about yourself or whether these are just being revealed to you and you always believe them, they're sexy qualities. They're things that make you interesting and appealing to everyone, and you can be appealing to a group of your peers, friends, like anything, and it makes you appealing in your relationships of all sorts. It's just they're just interesting and appealing qualities. And relaxation and openness, there's just something chill about you. And what I mean by that is you're not, in the same way that you're going to embrace your surroundings, you're going to make the most of it, you're going to adapt, you're going to like make something of it, not just like lay down and accept it. You're going to really take from whatever is given to you, and just the epitome of making like mountains out of molehills, or that's actually a bad thing. Never mind. I mean lemonade out of lemons. Okay, this is a gift. And openness, I feel like there's something about this. This might go to like the sexy piece, where this makes you seem very all-knowing. I think people think you have this ability to just not necessarily be happy, because I don't think you're like an overly jubilant person. But I think people want to see what's beneath your layers. What makes you tick? Why are you this way? Why do you seem so chill? Why do you seem so at peace? This reminds me of this isn't going to resonate with everyone, but I don't know if you like have been to yoga class or you remember going to yoga class, and there's always like this instructor that you think is just the coolest, sexiest, most chilled out person ever. Like you're just enamored with them, like male, female. There's just something about them where you're like, oh my God, they're so chill. They're so bendy. They're so relaxed. They're always kind of like glowing. they're always talking about random shit that doesn't even make sense, but you're like, it's just so, they're so interesting. And that's the kind of person that you feel like wherever you put them, they would just like flow and exist and be hip and cool. And that's your vibe. Okay. I mean, yeah. And I do think this is one of your gifts. And I do think it draws people to you. So, okay, I am not going to ramble about this based on these 3 cards anymore. I'm going to get some tarot. We're really going to speak to this, but I'm going to move this a little bit out of the way. But yeah, I definitely want to know a little bit more about your special gifts, because you are that sexy yoga instructor. And you know what? You might loathe yoga, but don't loathe the image of the sexy yoga instructor, because it really is, it's a real thing. So okay, let me see you in 3 cards, and we're gonna find these gifts. Okay, 8 of Cups, Innocence of Wands, and Spirit of Pentacles. So with the 8 of Cups, I like this, because to me this is that confidence to walk away. Like there's this part of you, and hence the part of you that can embrace change. You're not afraid to walk away from something. You have that ever so slight detached quality that makes you, again, interesting and intriguing, but you aren't going to attach yourself to something that doesn't serve you, that you don't like, that isn't a good look. I mean, whatever it is, there's this part of you that is very, I don't want to say flighty, although that could absolutely apply, but there's a part of you that is very, you can almost, like you're so self-aware, you know if something just isn't a good look. And by that, I mean, this could be anything from like, I've decided I'm going to stop swearing because I don't think it's a good look, to like, I'm going to no longer be in this relationship because I know it doesn't serve me. I don't want to, whatever. Like these are, anyway, you can walk away from things, and not everyone can. This really is a gift. And flanked by these cards, you're always going to find inspiration and passion. You're never going to be devoid of that spark. And if you are, for a moment, if you land somewhere where you're like a little unsure, then this is actually, although it might terrify you, I think this is a place where you would get like, it would amp you up. You would get so much drive and push, like internal willpower to kind of like step it up and find how you can make any situation the most interesting, the most fun, the most dynamic as possible. And I don't know, I'm starting to learn a little bit more about them signs and the constellations, which I guess I see in this card here. And there was something about Gemini. I'm not a Gemini, but I don't even know that I know any Geminis, but well, I'm sure I do, obviously, but that I'm aware of. But in reading about the Gemini, there was something about them where they're so like easy and breezy, so interesting, so smart, so sharp, so turned on, and also so like carefree and so non-committal, but in like this very intriguing way. And I get that vibe from you. And I know I'm going from someone who can, handle change and adapt, to someone that can like drop everything on a dime. But to me, those are the same things. Like you're not going to cling to something. You're not going to dig your heels in and see it through just because you started it. And granted, that might be a good quality in someone else. So I'm not saying that's a bad quality at all. Like the second reading could say like, oh, you are someone who digs your heels in, and this is your gift, and this is what makes you magic. But for you, it's the fact that you are so able to kind of move around, and yet there is this stable piece to you. And I see this in the Spirit of Pentacles, which is the King of Pentacles. You, throughout all this, you're still stable. Like you're just this beautiful, complex, you're a little bit of everything. So I do think that whether or not you stick to one job or not, irrelevant. I think you have a passion that you absolutely go for and work towards. I think that when it comes to money, it's always going to be there for you. Whether you have, buckets and buckets of it, I don't know, but like it's always there for you. You'll never be held back by your circumstance. And this goes back to the change thing, where I think you will like manifest your own new destiny. You will pick you'll find a fork in the road and you'll go the opposite way just to like shake things up, just because maybe you don't love where you're at now. And yeah, all these are just, it's things that make people want to talk to you. They want to know what makes you tick. How did you get this way? It's kind of, you do to me, you manifest, or you, not manifest, you embody this person, like almost that you would see on TV where you're like, I want to be like them. I just want to be like them. I can tell they're so easy and breezy and cool and everyone wants to be around them. That's you. And I'm throwing a lot of things at you here, but these are your gifts. And my gut tells me if you were to, watch all 3 other readings, which you're more than welcome to do, you would find that this is very unique. This is a very unique pile. And, Jade, it's funny because when you look at it, of the other 3 cards, they had a little bit more like dynamicism in their pictures. They were, I don't want to say prettier, but there's just something very like simplistic and confident about Jade. Like it doesn't try too hard. It's green. If you don't like green, it's not your brand, but that's fine. Like, yeah, you're special. You really are very special. And yeah, I just think once people actually lay eyes on you or hear you talk or get to know you for whatever reason, they're intrigued by you. To know you comes with like a level of intrigue. Okay, let's see how other people see you. And let's hope this doesn't contradict everything I just said. Okay, 9 of Wands, 8 of Swords, 10 of Pentacles. Okay, so I do like seeing the 10 of Pentacles under the Spirit of Pentacles because people definitely see you as grounded and stable, which is a huge it plays very well with the fact that you, in a lot of other ways, are somewhat out there, head in the clouds, do what you want. Very much like, you're chasing your own dream. I think you know how to make sacrifices when the time is right, but in general, you are very much, you're living for you. And why shouldn't you? Because this serves you. And I think for this, as a result of this, you're a happier person and you contribute and you give back and you love your family and your friends and your pets and things are very good for you. So, okay. Yeah, love this. You, from a home grounded perspective, you're stable. 9 of Wands tells me that you might experience a little bit of this overwhelm or this kind of, not necessarily, it's not a burden just yet because the 10 of Wands is really the burden, but the 9 of Wands is like, you might have to defend yourself a little bit. You might have to certain people who don't kind of get this ease that is you, because it might stress them out so much, and them being a partner, a romantic partner, maybe a family member, friend, whatever, someone who you're close to, who's kind of like, a lovely opposite of you, they really might not get how you can do the things you do, because for them it would come with a lot of stress and a lot of turmoil and a lot of questions and unknown shaky ground. And for you, this is your place. Like, you're happy here. So I do think that you have to sometimes explain yourself or defend yourself. And that might, even when you do that, it might cause you to feel like, to question some things. Like, am I really, maybe they're right. Maybe this is, maybe I could do this differently. Maybe I could dig my heels in here for a change. So I do think there are parts of you that realize at times that, you in turn see how other people are living their life and the decisions they are making, and it might help you to take on a little bit of that. But in general, you're very unique, and you're very confident. This is absolutely one of your gifts. You have an extreme confidence, and you know yourself. The relaxation piece too, when I look at this, it's like you do sleep well. You like who you are. You like the decisions you've made. Even if one of the decisions you've made, and by this I mean like, I don't even know. It could be what you decided to cook from dinner, from what you decided to cook for dinner to where you're going to move. Like, I'm talking big or small, you can sit with them. You can accept them. Whether the meal was a total flop and you couldn't eat it and you went to bed hungry, you're fine with that because you tried something new. If you move somewhere that you don't love, you'll find the good in it and you will absolutely make the most of it. Like, it's just this, you're very, very much at peace. And I think at the end of the day, when you crawl into bed, whether you're alone or someone's next to you, you're very happy in your own space, in your own mind, and in the space you occupy. I think you're very at peace. And this is also a gift. I don't know that you suffer from anxiety in the way that a lot of people do. I think you might be anxious about things that excite you or things you want to do, but I don't think you suffer with like questioning decisions you've made or where you stand like morally on something. I think you're very sure-footed and confident. And Eight of Swords, I like this because it does reinstill to me that you're not coasting through this world on luck. You really aren't. There's skill in what you do. You do have passions. You do have interests. You do have things that you stick to. And you work hard at these things. You don't have to work hard at them your whole life. I really don't think that's your brand. I don't think you're someone that, decided in high school they wanted to be a doctor, and now 35 years later, you're still a doctor or whatever. That was extreme because I feel like most people who decide that in high school, let's go with something different, like be a realtor, and now 35 years later, you're still a realtor. I don't think that's you. I think you've probably taken on quite a few different career paths, but again, they've worked for you. And if you aren't fabulously wealthy, you're okay with that because you're absolutely living the life you want to live. And that is another thing about you. If you want something, you're absolutely going to go after it. You are going to find a way to get it. Really nothing will hold you back. So, sometimes I wonder how I got all this out of these cards, and, am I just telling you my life story right now? I'm not sure, but I really am getting these messages. And I think it'll be interesting to see where the next 3 readings go, because this is so specific, and so it really came off of this card and the description I read from it, and I just connect very well with this oracle deck, which I've had for a while, and this just jumped out at me like, yeah, this is you, and these are gifts, and you are so you're like a magnet. You pull people in. I mean, you're like the sun. People are they're drawn to you. Can they burn out on you? Absolutely. You don't really burn out on yourself, so it doesn't matter if other people burn out on you. You frankly, you don't care. It's not a loss to you. It's not a win to you if people stay, and it's not a loss to you if people lose. You're so busy doing you that in a very good way that you're lovely. You're interesting, you're dynamic, you're lovely. I think these are your gifts. So let me see. I wanted to get input in a quote card, which unfortunately I don't have in front of me at this moment, so can't do that. But I will wrap this reading up here, and I will just say I hope you enjoyed this. Don't be afraid to be the first one to comment. And knowing you wouldn't be afraid. You wouldn't care what it looked like or what people thought. So if this is you, please comment. Let me know if you like this. And I will see you again soon. Thank you. Goodbye. Hello, this is Light and Bone Tarot. Thank you so much for being here. We are doing a reading for your special gifts. And I don't know, I can just always tell when readings are going to be like solid and exciting and just super connected. And I really feel like this is one of them. So thank you for being here. You picked Lapis Lazuli, which you couldn't see before, but now hopefully you can. Just a lovely blue, shiny like stone. And the part I'm excited about is your oracle card connected to that was Trust Yourself. And I'm going to say this is a very unique card. I'm new to this oracle deck, so I had to just read about it. And what I pulled from this was that, I don't want to just come out and say like, oh, you're very smart and that's your gift. But that was a huge piece of the description to this card. There's something about this card. Not only are you but you're bright. You get how things work. You get how people's mind works. You can dissect situations. I almost feel like there's a bit of like a psychic kind of energy to this as well, where by really analyzing things, it's almost like you can determine an outcome. And I don't know, the picture of this woman on here, like she's clearly, talking to the animals and nature, and whether or not you're super connected to nature or animals, I'm not sure, but you do have a gift. Like there is something in your eyes. You see things, you probably feel them, but you absolutely you know things. So let's get a couple more oracle cards and see you. Yeah, we've got power. Love that. And we have action. Okay. So there is this power to you, and the power, these thunderbolts, that kind of lightning bolts, it's almost like this is your mind, like just clicking, like you really, there's something very, very powerful to your mind. And I do feel like I want to say, maybe you knew this, maybe you've always suspected it, but I believe you have a power of your mind to accomplish, I really want to say great things. And you could be someone who has always been pegged for being very bright. Maybe you've always excelled, exceeded at things, I don't know. But you also could have been or can be someone that people tend to underestimate. And maybe that's led to you underestimating yourself. But I will say there is something incredibly powerful about your mind. So explore that if you haven't yet, because this really is a gift of yours. And these cards have a lot of similarity here, the power and the action. I mean, with power, you get that energy, that action, that explosion, that like you are kinetic energy. There's so much potential in you. And I really feel like there's so much movement. There's so much that could happen if you put your mind to it. And this is your gift. There's a gift of mind. And I'm sure with that, we're going to have like a gift of spirit. And like I said, I do feel that there's this piece of you that can be very psychically connected to things. But I feel like that stems from the way you can see things. You can see them unfolding. You can see them. You're the person everyone wants to bring somewhere because you are that like missing link, Yeah, and I do feel like this is understated in you. Like you could be someone that maybe doesn't speak up or say a whole lot. And when you do, it's like, oh, damn, did he just say that, like, did they just teach me about chemistry when we're like camping and trying to figure out how the fire works or something? Like, I just feel like that's you. And then you won't say anything again for a while or nothing profound. And then you'll be like rafting the next day and someone has a question about water and you're like, oh, that's not a personal example. I feel like that was an example that it sounds like something that happened to me. It's not, but it's just where my mind went there. So, okay, let's get some tarot cards to see you right now in 3 tarot cards, and we'll speak a little bit more of these gifts. And I don't know, we'll see you, because there's something about this that I feel like you don't totally know or you're not incredibly comfortable with. Yeah, let's see you right now. Okay, 6 of Wands, so there is some recognition there. 2 of Pentacles, kind of like a juggling act, and the Devil. I do love when Death and the Devil come up, because obviously you're not the Devil. And the Death card isn't here yet. It could come up, but the Death card means transition, new beginnings. It doesn't have anything to do with death. Okay, so interesting. Okay, so the 6 of Wands tells me that somehow you're being seen or recognized currently for something. I don't know that it's like this major accolade, but it could be. But there's something that you are being seen for something. I mean, whether a boss or a coworker or whatever, someone has recognized and finally seen you. And I do also think this has been downplayed. Like, I don't think you're standing on stage winning an award necessarily, but I do think that in some way someone, and it could be a partner, has like noticed something in you and been like, babe, I can't believe I never saw that in you before. Or I just now really notice like how strong you are in this department, or how great you are at this. Like, I just feel like this has happened. And if it hasn't, it's going to. And it is going to make you feel very good. It is going to give you this confidence that might, combined with this reading, might really help you to understand this unique power that you do have. And I want to go back to the trust and trust yourself here, because I didn't actually talk about that. You do trust yourself. You are, in so many ways, as far as like how you would direct yourself from here on out, you are so confident. in the decisions you make, because you know you're putting thought into them. You know if you do something, it's not willy-nilly, it's not throwing caution to the wind. It's truly like, oh, I can do this because I've analyzed all the outcomes, I've taken all the data, or all the data I've oh my gosh, just data and analysis, right? Let's say that. You know, for instance, if you're on that rafting trip with friends, you've already done the research to know, like, okay, no one's died on this rafting trip, but the currents are like going this fast, we're going to be fine. And I think you know the same, like if you were out picking wild mushrooms with friends, like I would want you there doing it with me, because you might not talk about it, that you've done it before, that you studied it all the previous night, but this is just you. This is truly your gift. You have a very, very high functioning mind. And as a result, you're very confident and assured in the things you do and how you live your life. Okay, so let's get to these 3 cards right now that, you currently, great. You're going to be seen for something. You're going to actually get praise, and it's going to mean something. You're going to know it when it's happening, or if it's happened. It's really, don't downplay it or let it kind of happen too quickly, because it is a big thing. I think it's the start of something. So 2 of Pentacles, and sure, I think right now you might be torn or juggling the fact that like you feel strongly about one thing, you've taken a situation, you see it for this, and maybe you haven't quite totally acted on it the way you want to. And we can't always, just because you're bright and able to see most things for what they are, it doesn't mean you can always instantly act accordingly. But I think that you're right now on the cusp of saying like, well, I see it for this, and now I want this to be the outcome. How do I go about that? And maybe you aren't totally working towards that right now. And this might have something to do with home life. It might have to do with relationships. And the devil, I don't know. It's funny. This reading is about your gifts, and I don't want to turn it into like your home life. Although this is slightly a message that I'm getting. There is, I think, someone in your life that is causing you, I wouldn't even say this person is not the devil in any way. I think they're challenging you. Let's put it that way. There's someone who is unafraid to challenge you, who is not bowing over, who is, just really, truly challenging you. And I think it can be hard on you. It might be the same person who's going to give you this praise, or the same person who's kind of having you step out of your comfort zone a little bit in maybe where you're headed or what you're doing. But I think this is good. I think this is a very big learning piece for you right now. So yeah, I do think this is you're going through this right now, and this is an experience that you're meant to have. I think you need to trust your gut on this and work through it just exactly as you feel comfortable doing so, exactly as you would, and it will work out nicely. But whatever this situation is, just know that if this speaks to you, Spirit sees it as well, and this is a challenge you're supposed to be up against right now. So I guess lean into it, and do treat it with respect and give it time. And okay, I'm going to get these cards out of the way a little bit, and we're going to get some tarot for. I want to get 3. I want to get input from Spirit. And I want to get some input from Spirit, and you're kind of like your near future and some input. Okay, Ace of Pentacles. I'm gonna take from the bottom here. What do we say about that? Movement of Cups and 3 of Swords. Okay, so the Movement of Cups is the Knight of Cups, which is it's kind of like a Prince Charming card. It's kind of like someone, if we take it very literally, it would be like someone not necessarily coming in hot and heavy quickly, but someone who's like professing love, a very like overly romantic gestures and notions. It can definitely be a card of romance, but I also think it can be a card of when things are like, oh my gosh, when you're being like tantalized, when you're, what's the word? Oh my gosh, it's going to drive me crazy. I'll come back to it. Oh, but I can't come back to it. And there's no pause. Temptations. I also think it can be things are tempting you. There are things maybe, so in regards to input from Spirit, maybe there are things right now that are pushing you to act differently. Maybe put your heart before your mind. And we do have the Three of Swords here, which can be seen as a card of heartbreak. It doesn't have to be. This can be more of a warning. This can be like, follow your heart. Maybe this is, in a very strange way, this top line as input from spirit could be follow your heart. And maybe, gosh, this is, okay. Maybe you always lead with your mind. Maybe you always overthink things. You're always anticipating outcomes. It is your gift. It is something that people know and love about you. It is a true, intense strength of yours. But let's say there's a relationship where there's one thing right now that you're trying to figure out or resolve. Maybe you have to put your heart first on this one and inject a little more emotion before you go into just heavy thought and analysis. And this might have to do with like your home, I don't know, where you lay your head at night, your relationships, there's something, input from spirit that might just say like, maybe you need to find a balance of like mind and heart, oddly enough. But, I just want you to know that this card, which really set the whole tone of this reading for me, I feel like for you, this reading, for the person listening for this, it's like a wake-up call. Like, again, either you knew you had this and you need to now also inject a little more heart into some of your decisions, or you suspected you had this gift and you weren't fully aware that you did, and you're hearing this reading as like, yeah, you really have a power. There is something very strong and capable and fiercely smart about you. So yeah, I'm almost ready to end this reading because it's so specific, but I want to ask for a little bit more tarot. So that was input from spirit. I want to see what your near future, in a good way, like in an exciting way, what's something you can look forward to, because I feel like this reading isn't just talking about your gifts. It's also bringing up like some, work you might need to do. So let's see what's exciting on the horizon for you and what can you look forward to. And we have Seven of Swords, and I'm going to put this other card over here, Ace of Cups. Okay. So I do think emotionally, you are going to, if you are looking for this emotional component, if you feel like maybe you are trying to really strike a balance with like, yeah, heart and mind, I don't know. And this might also be like, maybe you have been struggling with, I wouldn't say depression, although there's nothing wrong with that and absolutely nothing uncommon about it. But I didn't want to be so like cliche as to say, oh, it's depression, but like maybe there is a part of you that's just been a little bit down. And I feel like with people who are very mental and like in their head, they can probably go through bouts of, you're so accustomed to like overthinking things and analyzing and finding answers in that way that I don't know. I see this in very smart friends and people. They go through this, and maybe you are going through something emotionally, but I want to say that this like near and exciting future does say you are going to have a handle on your emotions. You're either going to know how to apply them better. They're going to work for you in a good way. And if you aren't excited about that, because it doesn't sound that exciting, it basically means if there's a relationship piece you're trying to figure out emotionally, you're going to like accomplish something with this. You're going to get somewhere with this. It's going to feel good. You're going to communicate maybe differently in a way that is more like loving, or maybe more touch, less words. There's something to say that like you're going to connect emotionally in a way that's really, you're going to like it. It's going to be great. And Seven of Swords, you definitely know what hard work is. This is nothing new to you, but I do think that in a hard work paying off kind of way, like you can also look forward to this. And I don't know, this feels more like separate from the rest of the reading, because there was definitely a message here about like home and love life and kind of working that. But this feels, it's just like a little separate piece to say whatever you're working on from I believe like a career standpoint, this is working for you. Whatever that is, that's the input I get from Spirit here. So this is almost like we've got your relationship piece and your work piece here. And Spirit wanted you to know, like, look, you're covered on both of these bases. Like, things are good for you. Yeah, this reading was interesting in that, like, I hope this presented itself as a gift to you. I hope it didn't like come off too much like a lesson or you should do this or stop doing this. This really is like a very much a message of you gifted. You almost feel gifted in one capacity or another. And I'm just gonna say this if you're still here listening. Gifted people are a little bit out there sometimes. I think they have a hard time connecting feelings, and like there's something, you feel gifted to me. And whenever challenges people who are gifted might have, they might absolutely apply to you. But you're doing things, you're definitely doing things right, and good for you. So okay, you're beautiful, and I would love to have you as a friend. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this reading. Please comment if you have something to say about this. If you liked it, didn't like it, let me know. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Goodbye. This is Light and Bone Tarot. Thank you so much for being here and letting me read for you. We are doing a reading for your special gifts, and very, very unique reading. Okay, Azurite. I always feel like this looks like a kale chip with the sea running through it. This is really special. Here, let me put it so you can see it. Okay, we've got Azurite. It's your pile. And I picked an oracle card to kind of kick this off, which is what I've done for the other two piles. And yours is free from judgment, free to love. And the overwhelming description to this card and what I'm going to say, because it's what I feel as well. There's something here about you give and accept love so well. And there's also a piece of this, they just went on and on about mothering and nurturing, and how you are they probably used the word mother in the description, which was very long, 50 times. So I'll try not to do that. But there's just this caring and nurturing component to you. Whether you are a mother, whether you're not. And I feel like being a mother can mean so many different things. I only have pets and I feel like a mother in some ways. Or you could have, so many different situations. But you could have a bunch of plans. There's just something very nurturing about you. And not everyone has this. It is a gift. It is a gift because it makes people drawn to you. It makes people want to be around you. It makes people fascinated to you. It makes the opposite sex or the same sex incredibly attracted to you. It just makes you attract the things you want to attract. Oh, my candle burned out. I hate when that happens. Sorry, no candle here. That was really hot. Okay, so you bring things, people, life into you. Okay, I'm just thinking about what that means to me, because there's a lot going on there. Okay, so we have miracles, pulling 2 oracle cards to see you, and abundance. None of these 2 cards really work for this, because with the miracles and the rainbow here, it is that feeling you can bring life to someone. You can make people feel like they can achieve anything. It's that mothering component. If someone is feeling down, I feel like you're the person that just in a hug, you might be a fantastically good hugger. Some people are, and it really is an amazing quality. You could be that person, or that person that always knows what to say. And not only that, but there are people that you, me, anyone, we're okay taking advice from. And then there's people we can't stand taking advice from. And you are one of those people, your advice is always well received. Just because your delivery of it is so, not only is it loving and caring, but it's there isn't, the judgment isn't there. I think you're very good about not judging people or not presenting in any way to someone that there's like an element of judgment. Yeah, there's a goodness to you, there's a calming to you, and you really do lift people up. They really, really want to be around you, and they really want to hear your input. Abundance, like I do think you kind of inject life. You care for things. You know, and it's almost, I mean, it's not too bad because this is really lovely, but it's almost too bad because, you know, this is all about like what you do for other people. However, how this plays out in your world, like why someone would actually want to be you and not just the person that receives this glory and bounty from you, is because I do think there's this part of you that is very much at peace. There is this, you are happy when you're helping other people. And, you know, I mean, that's like close to godliness or something. There's just something very healing about you too. And I didn't even think about that, but that makes me think of all the people in the world that are true healers, whether they're actual, you know, shaman or people with these like true mystical powers that like radiate out of them. You could just be that healer that like is disguised as the random woman down the street that like, I don't know, has some cats and there's something just exceptional about her. Yeah, you could be that, but there is a quality to you that is very, very healing and kind of magical. There's a magic and there's something in that rainbow. So let's see what we get here. Ooh, okay, I want to see you in 3 cards. The Lovers doesn't surprise me at all. 2 of Swords, okay. And 7 of Cups. So the Lovers is, I feel like you have no problem attracting people. And by this, anyone, but like romantic relationships or partners, you get what you want. You do. I mean, you could do it with a bag over your head. You could do it under a microscope. Like you just pull people in. There is something very, very attractive about you. And again, it goes beyond looks, and this says nothing to whether or not you look a certain way or not. You could be the most stunningly beautiful person, or you could be like a plain Jane that gets overlooked. You attract people. They want to be around you. They want to hug you. They want to touch you. They want things from you. Like this is, I don't know why that sounded so creepy. They want things from you. Like they want to be in your presence. Okay. So yeah, I think when it comes to relationships, I think you're pretty solid. I think if you have a need, it's met. If you want to be committed or serious, you can do that for as long as you want. You may be in a very long-term relationship, or you may, you know, be like a serial monogamous, whatever it is, it's what you want, because if you want to change it or you want more or you want less, you do this and it works. And I don't think you hurt people or burn bridges along the way. I just think you have this very easy, like it looks like you just go through life with such ease. And I think it's because you really do care about other people. You really care about other people, more so than any of the other piles, and I'm sure more so than the next pile we're going to see. There's this genuine intent to be good and just kind of do the right thing and help others and leave others in a better way than when you found them, kind of thing. It's very nice. 2 of Swords, sure, you may have your own internal conflicts. You might definitely have your own battles that you fight. I think you're very much at peace in regards to like the decisions you've made and how you treat people, but it doesn't mean you don't have other things that plague you from like a mental standpoint. And this might have a lot to do with like just the complexities of the world and human nature and how we're wired. And these things might, you know, weigh on you and get to you. And I don't know that you'll ever solve these problems, but I think it's part of your complexity. And it's there. There's this, you know, it's in you, but it doesn't affect the fact that you positively impact others and that you are also quite happy and content. You really are. And the 7 of Cups, I mean, yeah, there's this head in the clouds, a little bit of a dreamer quality in you, but I think I almost see this in this like manifestation piece where you're going to get what you want. You really, and this is so true of people who I think are like morally grounded, who do put energy into like others, who aren't just so focused on themselves and their own looks and their own like surface things. Like you aren't surface. You have a tremendous amount of depth. And I do think that although you have a lot of daydreams, and I think you have this kind of almost fantasy world that you rotate in and out of. But I think if there's something you really want, you do get it. And yeah, and I mean, I see this in the relationships that you can kind of get almost anyone you want. And again, it's not because you swoop in and look a certain way and that's your winning, your crowning glory. No, there's something else. There's a way in how you treat people. There's a way in how you present yourself. There's a way in just your conduct. And again, your moral compass and your genuineness. There's a real honesty and integrity to you. So your gifts are very, very pure. They're very good. And you care for things. And you very, very well may, when I say be a mother, you may have a house full of plants. You may have a house full of pets. You may have one pet that you dote on and love and treat so wonderfully that it's like, it's so beautiful to see. You know, like some people do have that one pet that it doesn't mean their pet like sleeps on like a Gucci mat or anything. It just means that like they love their pet. They make it fresh food. They, bake it something for its birthday. Like it's just a way of treating an animal like a human. And it is very nice when people do this, and it's sweet. And, okay, not to go down the pet path too much, but you're lovely. Very, very lovely. Okay. And this is a gift. And I mean, feel free to tell me if I give too many examples that are like so out there, but it's just like how I see you. And I guess I can only think of examples, and I just had a very specific one. Yeah, like you're someone who, if a friend or someone needs advice, they're going to want to take it from you. Your advice, like you never come off with toxic positivity. And I hate toxic positivity. I don't think it's actually that common, but I feel like there was a time like 10 years ago where it was like very common. I think I even probably did it to people and didn't even realize it. But like it is a thing, and you could never come off that way, but yet you can be that person that can say overly cheesy mantras because they genuinely come from a place of like love and you really believe in them. So it's very nice when you impart your little pearls of wisdom on people, and they aren't little, they're big and they mean something. And it's a gift. It's your gift. So, okay, let me ask let's get input from Spirit about you, about your situation, what's coming up. Let's see what Spirit has to say. She's funny sometimes. Okay, Movement of Swords. This comes up a lot. Spirit of Cups. And Judgment. Okay, so I think that Judgment is always that card to me of like someone being hard on themselves, someone who's overanalyzing their own situations. You wouldn't do this to other people, so, don't do it to yourself. I do think this is the card of like, treat yourself the way you treat others. You may treat other people better than you treat yourself at times. And this would definitely be a heads up in that department. But you know how to love yourself. You are absolutely you take care of yourself because that's important. In order to help other people, you have to really be you have to be with it. And you are, but I do think you're going through a phase of being particularly hard on yourself or denying yourself something. And this would just be a message to take care of yourself. Spirit of Cups. This is the King of Cups, and I'm here for it. Emotionally, you are so tapped in. There could be a message here of someone coming into your life or in your life that is that causes you to be maybe, I don't want to say overly emotional, but for you it might be this a a little bit more emotional outpouring than you're accustomed to or comfortable with. And this person could be like the movement of swords, which would be the Knight of Swords. Male or female, it doesn't matter. It's someone who just kind of comes in hot and has a lot of their own ideas and thoughts and might be somewhat imposing. Someone who maybe has a little bit more connect to conflict than you do. Although I think you're a great communicator and you're always down to debate, you don't really enjoy conflict. You're not there. It doesn't make you feel good to point out other people's flaws. You can do it, but it's just not your brand. Like, you would rather build someone up than, break them down, or you'd rather help someone through like a positive experience than like a negative experience. But yeah, I do think you're being challenged. You're being pushed emotionally and feeling probably more than you're comfortable with. So yeah, I just think there's someone in your life that's kind of doing this to you. And this might be what I saw in the Two of Swords, kind of like this decision, this thing you're torn against. And this is, the swords energy do line up here. So maybe this person is making you, maybe it's not the right relationship that you're in. It could be that, or it could be you need to speak up and, I don't know, treat this person differently or treat yourself differently when you're in the presence of this person. I don't know. There's an energy here about another person and how it might affect generally how you operate and love and respect yourself. Okay, so I don't want to get too heavy into that because that's not the point of the reading. The point is your gifts, your special gifts, and you, you're very blissful. You're very lovely. You are absolutely so attractive, and there's just this this light around you. Like, I wish I knew more about auras. I wish I saw them, but I feel like you would have this like lovely aura, and I don't know if a lovely aura is a rainbow aura or what, but there's an aura around you. And anyone with an aura is, well, we all have auras, but anyone with like a lovely, bright, crisp, beautiful aura is, you want to be around this person. You want to be in their energy field, in their light. You want to, bask in their aura basically. And you have this. So this is your gift. And I am going to wrap the reading up here because I tend to go on and on about the same thing, but I really hope you got something out of this. I see you so clearly in these cards, and I just want you to, treat yourself as lovingly as you treat others, and just make sure all the people in your life deserve to be there. Let's put it that way. Okay, all the best to you. Please leave a comment if you feel like sharing anything, like, subscribe, whatever you feel like. Okay, thank you. Goodbye. It's Light and Bone Tarot. Thank you so much for being here and letting me read for you. We're doing a really fun reading. It is called Your Special Gifts, and it's definitely been unique. Okay, you picked agate, and I loved agate. I love agate. You love agate too. Here we go. This is your reading. I'm going to tell you, this card was like, it was a tricky one to pull your special gifts off of. It's called Faith in Process. And it was so tricky that I almost wanted to get you a new card because I was like, what do I say with this? Because it's a pretty intense description. I think I'm going to say, and I mean, this might be heavy, which, so help me, every now and then I have like a really heavy reading. I think you are someone who has overcome a lot of, I say adversity, I don't know if that's necessarily the right word, it might apply, a lot of hardship, a lot of struggle, a lot of whatever shitstorm that's been thrown at you for whatever reason at whatever time in your life. You are like incredibly resilient, and there's something in this card that just tells me like you have this, there's like a good omen in this card. So I really think this reading's going to be, it's probably going to be me repeating this over and over again, that you've been through a lot and you have this ability to like rise above and like really get through things. But it's also, I think, going to be, I'm going to take this in the direction of like, here's what you can look forward to, because I don't want to say you've earned it, although I'm absolutely sure you have, but I don't want to be like, you've earned it. I think it's more like, here you are and this is happening, and boy, have you done the right things to deserve this. So anyway, let me pull 2 oracle cards and see a little bit more about you and your situation. So we have security and illumination, and just in these cards, these beautiful oracle cards, there is this sense of like calm and serene. There's this, you know, this has this like wistful piece to it, and this has this, it's a lot sharper, but it's very much like, there's like I don't know, I just feel like you're getting to a point where there's like a safety that's coming your way. You're getting, I don't know, it's almost like you've put in enough time, let me try to think about this without really, I don't want to lose because I'll say this, I feel like I could give a whole reading on what you've been through and where things are headed for you, and I think it would be a very, very positive reading. But the topic is your gifts and or what makes you special. Pardon me, same difference. So I'm going to stick with that because you have this insane resilience and there's just something very magical about you. Okay, and there's a light inside of you that is like unshakable. You really are, you're someone to be respected. You're someone to be kind of like admired. There's just this very unique quality in you. And yet you have seen things or experienced things that, you know, some people might say they wouldn't wish on their worst enemy or whatever it is you've been through, whatever relatively speaking that is. And it is relative for everyone. But yeah, you've been through it. And okay, we've got the Hermit, Judgment, and 5 of Swords. So yeah, 5 of Swords is definitely the card to speak of wrongdoings and things that are unpleasant and, you know, sure. This is flanked by 2, I asked to see you in 3 cards, by the way. I don't know if I said that or not. So yes, you've had a lot happen to you. Okay. Flanked by 2 major cards. We've got the Hermit and Judgment. And this, from what I can see, really does explain you. You are this, the Hermit is all about this internal light, this internal compass, this like glow from within, this desire to be so good and pure. I mean, I think that really is the point behind the Hermit card. It's someone who goes away or looks within or turns within to evolve, to grow, to be better, to connect, to, you know, like it very much is this card of really wanting better things for yourself and I think everyone around you. And this is you. You can, and much like this, you know, this little fetal position person in this very sad wagon, you've gone within, you can recoil and you can disappear and work on yourself, but you're always doing it from this place of absolute goodness. There's this light. There is this constant light that you revolve around or that is within you. And it's very strong. You have your own light source, and Judgment, you may be hard on yourself. You may be hard on the world around you. You are always like scrutinizing. You're always analyzing. But I think this is something that's just, it's come up because this is your survival. This is your mechanism. This is what you do. And you know what? That's fine. Because it really does work for you. You aren't an overly judgmental person, but you see things, you see everything. So you might see things that genuinely could be criticized or commented upon, but you don't judge the person for those things. You're just, you know, you see them, you're aware of them, but you really are, I think, very, very, to a degree, very accepting. You're very open. There's just because you've been through so much and you've chosen to like really rise above and be so positive and so secure and stable, it really is, there's this grace to you. I really, like, in one word, you have there's a grace to you. And with that, I think you have a certain amount of like gratitude, even though you could probably tell, you know, a more like a story worse than anyone else in the room. Maybe, I don't know. I don't want to like put too much of an emphasis on like bad things at all, but I'm just saying, I think there's a real like grace and beauty to you, and you have a way of like moving that is just, you're just sincere and intentional. And yeah, I think you're a lovely person, and I think people obviously want to be around you, but I feel like you're gonna do big things. I really feel that way. There's something like, it's not for nothing, whatever you've been through. And again, this is relatively speaking. I hope it's not anything, you know, whatever it is that you've been through, it's definitely good things are in store for you. Okay, let's see your near future. So we've got the Star, which is absolutely lovely. We've got Justice, which amazing. And the Sun. Wow, I don't know where these three major cards came from. I really don't. But this is when we ask for your near future, I don't think we could get three better cards. We've got the Star. The Sun is like one of the best cards in the whole deck, as far as like, if there's anything icky on the board, the Sun basically trumps it. It can take over everything. So you have, you know, we asked about your current. This was honest. This was real. It tracks. But like, if I asked for your future and these were two not so great cards and the Sun came up, I could spin them, which to me would be an honest interpretation of like, actually, no, this is good. But you have the Sun and two other great cards. So I'll just say the Justice card to me is like, you're going to get exactly what you deserve, and that sounds, there's no karmic influx there. Like we all deserve wonderful, beautiful things, but whatever hardships you've had, whatever you've had to endure, whatever you've been through, you're going to experience a lot of beautiful things and a lot of lovely things. And I think this is because of the person you are. And yeah, whatever you wish for, whatever you want, you're going to get it. And maybe there are people in your life that, I don't know, maybe justice needs to be served in some ways. And I think that absolutely could be happening as well in your near future. But again, I don't want to get heavy on that. I just want to say that your special gifts are that you have a true light to you, a true goodness, a true like inner strength. You're a warrior. You can so totally take care of yourself. You're so self-sufficient. You're so self-aware. You're so, but also kind and good, but no nonsense. You're not someone to be messed with, but you're also not a fighter either. Like, as in, you don't want any additional conflicts or struggle or strife. There's absolutely no need for it. And yeah, I think people have a tremendous amount of respect for you, and just see you as a very strong person. But there's this light piece too, which it's like the fire, and the fire is kind of shining exactly on this person. And with the Hermit, we have the light. With the Sun, we have the light. The Star, there's just all the illumination. So also, like, it's very funny to me. There's something about this light shining on you, which tells me, I did say, I see you doing great things, or I see something very great and big coming up in your future. And I see this in the form of this light. And it's almost like we could say it's this reward, it's this payoff, it's this payback. It's the Justice, the Star, the Sun, whatever it is, it's there and it's coming your way. And it's lovely, and it's a very beautiful thing. And this is your gift. This is part of what makes you special. This isn't for everyone. This is for you. So yeah, I generally don't end readings this quickly, but I always get this feeling of when I've kind of like said enough or harped enough on one thing. And I don't want to turn over other cards and start going down other storylines, but I really feel like what I just said, like, for me, drove it home. So I'm just going to get two cards. I'm just going to get input from Spirit, or a gift from Spirit, and then I'll just stop the reading, because I think I've said everything. But let's ask Spirit. Let's get input from Spirit and then a gift from Spirit. So we'll get input and a gift. Okay, so the input is the Devil. And, for me, the Devil is like, I don't know, there's just always, it's a warning to me of like, maybe who you let into your life. It has to do to me with temptations, with vices, with any kind of like toxic behavior. And this to me is something to do with other people or who you let in, or maybe it's a sign that, I don't know, we can connect this to a card of justice, of someone getting justice, but it's very much here to say like, there's nothing bad that can come of this Devil card, in other words, because this card was presented in a way, it was input, it was a gift from spirit. So it's saying that either this person will no longer be a trouble to you, that these, whatever this Devil card represents, and this, like we just said, it can represent so many different things, whatever that is to you, we can pretty much like wipe it out of your, like your near future is so bright and so strong. If this ever presented a fear, that you can just like poof, like wipe it away. It's out of here. This is not something you need to worry about anymore. Whatever this darker energy is for you. And the Six of Pentacles, there's a lot of, in me, this is helping each other. So you're either going to get help you need in a way that tracks for you, or you're going to be helping someone again in a way that tracks for you. There's something here about like this give and receive piece where I think there's a working together. And I think it has to do with help someone with their growth, with their process, with what they're going through. You definitely have an ability to help people. And this comes in the fact, in your life's experiences, in what you've been through, in what you've endured. You definitely have a gift to help others, and others want to be helped by you. So maybe this is something to do with like a life's calling, or directly to something. If you need something, then I do believe that you're going to receive what you need from someone else, whatever that is. But these are just two like side piece messages to be like, this isn't your problem anymore. This isn't your deal anymore. Your upcoming future, your near future is so totally bright. It's everything you wanted. It is so luminous. It's so beautiful. This light that we mentioned is, you're going to be basking in it. It's everywhere. It's literally dreams and wishes coming true, and things are going to come to the surface. Things are going to be polarized in the best way. So if we take this reading and say what your special gifts are, I mean, these might be gifts from the universe that are coming to you. Maybe these are your special gifts, less in the way of like, oh, and here are 3 things about you that make you unique. Here are 3 things instead that are going to be gifted to you. You are tremendously unique and wonderful and strong and just a pillar of strength in so many ways. But I also think this reading to me has revealed these gifts that are coming your way. So yeah, I'm going to wrap it up here, but I really hope this tracked. I hope you liked this. I hope it meant something, because I see it as a pretty like moving and special reading. So I hope you liked it. And you know what? If you did, please comment, like, subscribe, do whatever feels right. But thank you so much for being here and letting me read for you. Thank you. Goodbye.